Hi, welcome to Financially Intact. Making money is easy, keeping it is the hard part. The channel dedicated to helping you keep your money in your pockets. If you like what we say and do here, please hit the subscribe and like buttons. So, let's go ahead and open this bag here of Gold Pay dirt from Gold Bay. They are my favorite company by far. They say in this particular one, it says we're going to get 103%, which means we should get 1.03 grams of gold out of it. So we just pour it in. And, okay, so when you're panning for gold, I'm actually going to use 2 pans, and we'll go through this a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit more about the pans a little later on in the process here. But I have 2 pans. I have both the big green one and the small black one. The small one is great once you get down to the really fine stuff, but it's nice to have the big green one when you're first working through it. Now sometimes I also use what's like a separator, and it gets more of these big rocks out right at the beginning. But for this one, and because it's only a pound of dirt, not one of the 3-pound bags, I decided to leave it in here and just so you could see the whole process of how we do it. So the first thing you do is you get a pretty fair amount of water in there, and you got to shake it pretty hard and pretty thoroughly. Don't worry about the splashing. You're not going to splash any gold out. Gold immediately, almost immediately, sinks right to the bottom. But you just want to get it really stirred up really good. And then what you do is you can see the pan, it has riffles on this side, no riffles on this side. So this acts like a little sluice box. And so you're going to bring it all, shake it down into this corner here. As you can see, I'm slightly slanted. And then you pour off the bad stuff. And so then you want the water coming up right to here, right just past it, and you come up like this. And as you can see, the light stuff is coming right up off of the top. So you do that like 3 or 4 times, and then you reshake it. And keep it slightly tilted, like I said, so that the gold's always going to end up back in this corner. And don't worry, this doesn't take very long. For this amount of dirt, it's not all that much. It goes fairly quickly. And like I said, you don't have to be super gentle with this, because the gold's going to go right to the bottom in a hurry. You'll see here. Now, I do suggest that you do use a big plastic bin like this to work with, because every now and then you might do something not so bright, like drop your pan in the water, your fingers get tired, or your hand gets cramped or something and it falls in. And that way you still have your gravel, and you can always rework it if you had to. And actually, when you're first learning, it's probably a good idea to always rework your gravel at least once anyway, because there's going to be times you're going to miss some stuff. It takes a little bit of learning. But as you can see, it's not difficult. It doesn't take very long. Even the big rocks, you would think they're much heavier than the gold, and so you'd be worried about it, but don't. You'll see here in a minute. All the gold's going to be right where it's supposed to be. Especially this gold. Now, Colorado gold is much finer than the gold that we get in these bags of dirt. And so then you got to be a little bit more careful, and that's definitely when I use the separators and get the bigger stuff out first, so that I can be more careful. Okay, so a few of these bigger pebbles are being a little bit on the stubborn side, so we're going to help it out just a little bit. Now, one thing I didn't do today that I normally do, except for, like I said, this gold's always a little bit bigger anyway, with Colorado gold, we actually put in a couple drops of dishwashing detergent, because that it breaks up the water so that the gold won't float on the water on you. Okay, we're getting down to the fine stuff, so this is where I now take it and I bring it all into here. And what you might find is surprising is you probably noticed you didn't see any of the gold yet. Wait till you see how much is in here. It's going to actually shock you. I saw a couple of the pieces as I was dumping it into this tray. But as you can see, you don't see any gold yet, but I guarantee you there's going to be a pretty fair amount in here when we're done. This is going to be just a couple minutes from now, maybe not even that long. You get rid of a few more of these bigger pebbles. This is what those strings I was talking about are actually called classifiers, and it really helps because it gets rid of these right off the bat. A little bit up top here. And here comes the gold. I don't know if you could see that yet. See all the gold showing up right in here? It says you can see the gold starting to show up here in the corners now. You see all that? Oops, there goes one that's floating. And that's why I said I normally do, that's kind of unusual for this heavier gold to do that. I normally put in a couple drops of the dishwasher liquid to keep gold from floating. So once you get down to the real fine stuff, and this part, here's where you have to be really careful, but this is also why I use the bigger tub here, is because here's where you can actually screw up and the gold goes back into the big tub. We don't want to do that. As you can see, I'm just barely touching it, getting rid of the black sand in here. I'm watching real closely. And then what we do, we're almost there. Okay, so the other way to see it is if you go like this real lightly, it brings the black sand down this way now to where you're going to see, unfortunately, some of the gold's in here. Let me get it all together for you. Okay. Oh, dang it. Do this one more time so you can get a good picture of it. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to let it dry out because it's a whole lot easier to separate it after it's dried out. You take a magnet to it and it gets rid of a lot of the black sand for you, and it's real easy to pick the gold out. So I don't know if you, hopefully you can see that pretty good. There's a couple pieces up here, but here's the vast majority of it. So altogether that should be about 1 gram of gold. Once it dries out, we'll clean it, we'll do the final cleanup, and we'll put it on the scale and let you see it. So that's how you go about panning for gold. So here's the final result of the gold that was in that package. Move it around a little bit. We'll show you here. We're going to weigh it up and show you what it came out to be. I said it was supposed to be 1.03 grams. 1 second here, you'll see it came out almost exactly that. Here we're back to the scale, and you can see that I have it zeroed out. I put the tare weight in there, and now we'll put the gold in there. Now the gold is in there. Sorry. And as you can see, it is 1.039, right up 1.04. And it was supposed to be 1.03. So he did really good. He gave us exactly what he said he was going to give us. And there you go. So that's about $65 worth of gold. There it is. So there you have it. Whether you want to buy gold and have it shipped in a bag of dirt and work it through in a pan, or if you want to get some of the gravel from your hometown or rivers near you and pan for gold, that's how you do it. If you'd like a further video on exactly more about the pans and the classifiers and see us work some local dirt, then leave a comment, leave a message in the comments below, and we'll do one more of these for you. Other than that, we hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like the channel and leave comments as to what you would like to see next. The next video will be on buying silver. See you soon.